Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Doctor Who figure related video. In today's Doctor Who figure related video, we're talking about the Doctor and Dalek twin packs from Toys R Us, which was part of the 50th anniversary celebration of the show. And now we're at the 60th anniversary, so these sets are 10 years old, so I thought it'd be a nice little throwback to take a look at these sets, because they're sort of a proto-history of the Dalek set line, what we get in the B&M set, and with the release of the Richard Herndl and Death Zone Dalek, which could have easily been part of this line of figures. Back in the day. I think it's sort of a nice little celebration, nice little full circle moment to look back at where it began. I know we did have sort of twin packs in the Food and Planet days, but this is sort of real sort of history of a Dalek set, where it's like here we have a Doctor and a Dalek from their era. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to go from my least favourite to my favourite set. So we've got 11 sets to cover and sort of do a sort of video discussing them. Now these were sold over 3 waves, the first wave being the 2nd, 6th and 10th Doctor, and then the second wave was the 5th, 7th and 9th Doctor, and the final wave was the 3rd, 4th, 8th and 11th Doctor. So before we dive into the list, if you've enjoyed this video so far, then please do consider hitting the subscribe button if you're new around here, because there's plenty of Doctor Who figure related content coming up in the near future. Like the B&M set reviews when I do find them, but for now we're going to dive into the Doctor and Dalek twin packs from Toys R Us. At number 11 we have the 6th Doctor and Necros Dalek. Now I think that this is the weakest in the Toys R Us lineup, simply because the 6th Doctor doesn't really offer that much. I think obviously we're kind of limited with what you can do in terms of TV 6th Doctor Dalek stories, but I think this is just, you know, your standard re-release of a Wave 1 Colin. We know what we've seen since sort of 2008, the Attack of the Cybermen set, and then the Revelation of a Dalek set in Food and Planet. There is a slight difference to it. If I bring in the original Colin Baker figure, you can see the difference in the cravat and the detailing on the sort of pocket watch. But yeah, it's a subtle variant which people probably aren't aware of. I think I probably would have liked this set if it come with a Scarizian Dalek over the Necros Dalek, simply because this is exactly the same as the sound effects one, just without the sound effects. But it does have more of a glossy finish, which is more accurate to how it was seen in Revelation of the Daleks. But I think the new B&M Necros Dalek sort of beat this one, because it's just, yeah, I'm just not a fan of this Necros Dalek because I think the eye stalk's too short. But yeah, I think that this is definitely the weakest in the Doctor and Dalek Toys R Us lineup, just because it doesn't offer that much new, to be honest. In 10th place we have the 2nd Doctor and Emperor Guard Dalek. Now this set, I have to say, it's a bit of a weird one, because you have a 3 Doctors Troughton figure, which is different to the mass retail version. If I bring in the mass retail one here, this is the one in the 11 Doctor set, this is a Toys R Us one. You can see it has more of a matte finish compared to the Toys R Us one. But I think that it's just weird that we've got a 2nd Doctor not from his era. They could have easily just painted the shirt white and it would have been a new variant, or they could have done a Troughton from Power of the Daleks and it would have been fine. And they could have done like a powered Dalek without the gun. But I will say the Emperor Guard Dalek figure is great. It's a slight variant on the Dalek Collector set 2 with the orange dome lights and the new sort of paint taps on the eye stalk. But there's really not much to say about it. I think that the thing what lets it down is the Troughton, but it's a sort of just a re-release of the 3 Doctors one, which, you know, it's not from his era. So it just feels a little bit bizarre that that was included when they could have just painted the shirt white and just said, hey, that's Evil of the Daleks. But you know what? It is what it is. In 9th spot we have the Stolen Earth set, which it's an interesting set. We have the 10th Doctor there, what we all know and love. It's interesting that they've gone for the sort of a repaint of the 11th Doctor set, 10th Doctor. It would have been nice if he didn't have the glasses and just have that sort of plain head sculpt. So that would have been cool, but I think he does have the glasses for like 5 minutes in Stolen Earth. But it would have been nice not to have the glasses, but still, you know, it's pretty much your standard 10th Doctor figure. But the main star of this set is the Crucible Dalek, which is a lot more of a paler gold, but as you can see, it has this beautiful black wash to give it that nice weathered and worn look, which really does highlight how brilliant the bronze Dalek design is, that it is very tank-like. and I think that it's just a really beautiful Dalek figure, one of my favourite sort of bronze Daleks in the line. Just that wash really helps accentuate the detail of the Dalek, and it's just beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, sadly the 7th Doctor does let the set down, but it is still a very nice set overall. We have a very famous Dalek story, one of the all-time greats. It is Remembrance of the Daleks, with the 7th Doctor and Renegade Dalek. Now, the 7th Doctor, I should say, is a really nice addition for people because the Cream Jacket 7th Doctor was obviously locked behind a Forbidden Planet exclusive and got a single card release as well, so it's a great chance for people to pick up this version of the 2nd Doctor. Now, it is different to the Forbidden Planet version. Obviously, the head's different, but you can see the trousers are a lot darker on the Toys R Us one, and you can see the scarf detailing is different as well. But yeah, very nice. It would have been great if we had sort of a solemn hatted 7th Doctor, but you know, we live in hope that that can still happen. Then we have this lovely Renegade Dalek, which I love the Renegade Daleks. This does have a factory error because the slats are meant to be painted black, but it was too late in production for them to change it. But it is a really nice looking Dalek figure. You know, it looks how it did on the screen, and it's just a stunning figure. There's not much really you can say. It's just a beautiful Dalek, and I'm a big fan of it. And yeah, there we go. 7th Doctor and a Renegade Dalek. From one classic story to another, we have the 4th Doctor and Genesis Dalek. Now, this was going to be a Destiny of the Dalek set with a revised Destiny of the Daleks 4th Doctor with like the actual lapels of his jacket so you could hook the scarf around. But no, we have this, which I think this set has sort of aged because of the B&M set, because I think the B&M set does the Genesis Dalek a lot better because we have the accurate paint and colour scheme for the Dalek now in the B&M line, and of course you can remove the plunger and also the gun as well. But if with this version you can only balance the gun in. If you push the gun all the way in, you're going to need pliers to remove said gun again, so I just leave it in balancing. But it's a nice little Dalek variant. The 4th Doctor is a repaint of the Sontaran Experiment one, and fun fact, this is the only Doctor to come with a sonic screwdriver accessory in the Toys R Us line. We do have a little slight variation from the Sontaran Experiment one, as we have the mud on the trousers, which was a sort of an odd thing character did on only 2 Doctor figures, I would say. The Time Warrior 3rd Doctor and this 4th Doctor to show that the 4th Doctor's sort of been wandering around Viscaro Wasteland. So yeah, it's a nice set overall. But I think this one's sort of been aged by the creation of a Dalek set, which does this Dalek a lot better. But yeah, still a nice set overall. Just missing out on the top 5, we have the Resurrection of the Dalek set. So this was a great way of people to get a sort of season 21 5th Doctor with hat, and sort of a hatted version of the 5th Doctor, because we've only seen sort of 2 versions at this point. The Planet of Fire set, and then this one, and then of course we had the B&M version. But yeah, I really love this 5th Doctor figure because I am a huge fan of his season 21 costume. It's my favourite Davison costume because it's just a lot more bright and colourful compared to the other 2 sort of season costume that he had. But yeah, it's a brilliant figure. I really do like him, and he does really pop, as you can see. But the Dalek I adore. I think the orange dome lights again really help this figure pop. The nice sort of silver detailing on the mesh to really highlight and accentuate that detail. It's great. The nice sort of grey blue's been a lot better, revised from the Forbidden Planet one. I think this is my favourite Resurrection drone Dalek. I think this is a better version than the one that came in the Resurrection of a Dalek set. You know, the little detail of the silver on the plunger to give that illusion that it's extended. But yeah, it's a really nice Dalek figure. This is a great set. And hopefully character will go back and do the Resurrection of the Daleks, History of the Daleks set, because I think there's some nice variants they can do. But yeah, this is a nice orange colourful set. They're twinning, as they were. But yeah, great set. Top 5, at number 5 we have the Daleks Master Plan set with the Supreme Dalek and the 1st Doctor. So we take a look at the 1st Doctor. So this is a nice little revised version of the Forbidden Planet 1st Doctor. You can see the paint taps are a lot more sort of smoother, I would say, compared to the Forbidden Planet one. If the camera will focus, you can see that it's not as harsh on the red on the eyes The hair's a lot more sort of a white than sort of a grey. The paint app's just a lot more better, I'd say, on this Toys R Us one. So I think that this is a great way for people to get a definitive Hartnell figure, because this is sort of his main look. I know the trousers should have the shorter checks, but I think that this is a great way for people to get the definitive Hartnell look. And then we have this gorgeous Supreme Dalek, which I think, you know, it's a lot better than the B&M version. You know, this has the darker grey midsection instead of the weird light grey what we had in the B&M line. It's just a very visually striking Dalek, you know, with the blue and the black. It's just one of my favourite Dalek colour schemes, and you know, it does have a lot of shelf presence, as you can see. It's just a stunning Supreme Dalek, you know, and I'm glad we've got it. I mean, they could have done the Mutations of Time version, just this figure in red, but yeah, I'm glad we went for the standard 60s Supreme Dalek look, and I think that it is a stunning one. At number 4, we have one of my personal favourite Doctors. It is the 11th Doctor and Dalek Strategist from Asylum of the Daleks. Now we have this lovely variant of the 11th Doctor from his Season 7 look. It's a bit weird that they've gone for the Series 5 Matt Smith body over the Series 6 one. I think there was a prototype of this for the Series 6, but it's nice to see this. It's sadly missing the ball joints, but it's still a really nice variant of Matt Smith. Sadly, the head sculpt doesn't fit on this body, which causes a bit of ugly paint rub, so it's one I tend not to move the head on. But yeah, it's a really nice variant of Matt Smith. I really like it. It's really quite striking with a white shirt and just a blue bow tie. But the Dalek Strategist, I love the Paradigm Daleks, and this is a stunning figure. It's one what definitely pops, you know, the sort of darker metallic colour scheme. Yeah, it's a beautiful figure. I think that it is a great revised version of it, that sort of metallic blue. It just looks absolutely stunning, and hopefully when we get to the Asylum of the Dalek set, we can get the sort of cleaned up version of the drone Dalek, because we've only seen that in the Asylum weathered look, so it'd be great to have a clean version of that to go alongside this Strategist figure. But yeah, I really do like this. It's a beautiful set and one of my personal favourites. At number 3, we have a story that traumatised me as a kid, as I said goodbye to my first Doctor, and that is Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways with the 9th Doctor and the Emperor Guard Dalek figure. So we take a look at the 9th Doctor. This is probably my favourite 9th Doctor figure. I think the detailing of the leather jacket's brilliant. We've got this nice sort of wash over it to really give that nice leather detail, and I think, you know, it's a nice little look for Eccleston there, and it's a nice way to complete and give a sort of a regeneration look to get the sort of non-disco dancing Eccleston figure to sort of align up with the 10th Doctor figure we got years ago, so it's great to complete that. But the Emperor Guard Dalek figure, what a beauty. This lovely chocolate bronze Dalek, which we've only seen sort of once before the San Diego Comic-Con Assault Dalek, but this is an absolute stunning Dalek, that sort of black dome on sort of the chocolate bronze. It's really eye-catching and is one of my favourite Dalek designs, and it's a shame we don't have much representation of the Daleks in Parting of the Ways. Hopefully we can in a few years time, but it'd be great to sort of get a few more of these to Army Build, to have 2. But yeah, I absolutely love this Dalek figure. It's absolutely stunning, and it's definitely a main sort of centre point in the Series 1 figure display. It's just a really lovely Dalek to go alongside your 9th Doctor. Just missing out on the top spot, it is the Planet of the Dalek set with the 3rd Doctor and Anti-Lightwave Reflectant Dalek. That's a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, this is one of the best set character options I've done. This is such a brilliant set, as we have the 3rd Doctor in his Planet of the Daleks attire. I know that this is inaccurate, as the jacket should be sort of double-breasted, but I think that this is definitely a 3rd Doctor figure what pops on the shelf just because of the colour scheme with that purple, the lovely paisley detailing on the sort of cravat, which is beautiful, and it's just, yeah, really nice crisp paint apps for the 3rd Doctor, and it's just, again, a very striking 3rd Doctor on your shelf, and it definitely pops alongside all the others. But I guess the main star is the Anti-Lightwave Reflectant Dalek. This was such a wild card thing for character to do, as none of us really expected it, but as you can see, it's sort of reflecting from sort of the end of episode 1 and the start of episode 2. So it's kind of scene orientated, this Dalek. Obviously the B&M one's just clear, but this is just a really nice paint. That's how we sort of see the gradient of the paint, sort of where it's sort of been spray painted to give that illusion of the invisibility. Again, it's a Dalek that just has a lot of shelf presence and just is quite eye-catching, especially when you pair these two together. There's something quite special about this pair. But yeah, I think that this is a brilliant set, and obviously one of the highly sought after ones, and quite a rare set now for obvious reasons, because it is just an absolute stunner. At number 1, a Doctor you probably weren't expecting. It is of course the 8th Doctor and the Dalek Alpha from the Children of the Revolution. Now this is such a wild card set, because you probably didn't expect to see an 8th Doctor and Dalek twin pack in this lineup, and to get a comic 8th Doctor is such brilliant. It's my favourite 8th Doctor figure they've done, because I just love the costume of this sort of navy blue velvet frock coat, and then sort of the mustard yellow and the brown costume. It's just very nice, sort of variant of the 8th Doctor's costume, and it's just a real stunning figure, and I really do love it. And this is a great way for people to get sort of the original TV movie McGann figure before the B&M version. But yeah, I think that this is definitely my favourite 8th Doctor figure in my collection. It's just a great one, and I love it when character option sort of taps into the expanded media, like the real-time 6th Doctor, and we've seen it in the recent B&M set with the Ultimate Adventure 6th Doctor and TARDIS. But Dalek Alpha, what a stunning Dalek. Now I love red Daleks. I think there's something quite really appealing about them, and I think that this is a stunning one. And to get sort of a Children of Revolution or Dalek Alpha is brilliant, because it's a brilliant comic. I do have a little issue with mine. As you can see, the eye stalk sort of peg has been sort of stuck right back, so it makes the eye stalk very short when it shouldn't be. It should be a sort of standard Genesis of a Dalek's Dalek eye stalk. But yeah, it's a nice sort of amalgamation of sort of the 70s Dalek with a 60s gun. It's just a really nice sort of Doctor Who oddity, I would say, and I think that's why this is sort of number 1 for me, because it is a bit of a Doctor Who oddity. It's something we didn't really expect to see in the line, and I think the line's better for it, really, and just sort of have McGann to get his own sort of Doctor and Dalek twin pack. It's absolutely lovely. So that is why the Dalek Children of Revolution 8th Doctor and Dalek Alpha is my favourite set in the Doctor and Dalek Toys R Us twin pack line. So there we have it. That has been my video on the Doctor and Dalek twin packs from Toys R Us. A nice way to sort of celebrate the 10-year anniversary of these Doctor and Dalek twin packs, and to celebrate the upcoming History of a Dalek set 14 and the Hurdle and Death Zone Dalek. So without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, then please do like and subscribe for plenty more figure related content coming up in the near future, and I'll see you next time for more Doctor Who shenanigans. So thank you very much, and goodbye.